I don't know, so I don't form any opinions about that. I don't know. And you can't tell me. Nobody else can tell me.
I believe that there's something, but I don't believe in ghosts as such. I think there's spirits around.
I'm, how do you say it in English? Skeptic? Yeah, that's the word. I'd have to experience something to give it a little more credit.
A lot of people experience things and don't talk about them. But when you get older, you suddenly think, well, I'm not crackers. I think sometimes when you're young, you don't always tell people what you really experience because they might think you're out of your mind, definitely for the funny farm.
Well, that was some of the views of the people of the North East. But what about the North East ghost? Well, Durham Castle is right in the centre of Durham and reportedly haunted by a woman who walks down its famous black staircase. I went to the black staircase to take a look for myself and met up with a member of staff who told me all about the mysterious grey lady.
She's Bishop Cousin's wife. And the tale is she threw herself off the top of the black staircase, and that's our ghost. The reason why she did it was she went a bit doolally, that's the tale, and she threw off the black stairs. But she's also just off by the knees, our ghost, because she floats along the Norman Gallery and down the black stairs, and she sometimes sits on our bishop's bed. Right? This is just our tale, what we think, right? And the reason why she's only off by the knees is because we've got 2 false floors in. Right, so that's the tale. So I'll go and tell you now not my experience, but what happened up on the gallery. She's supposed to sit at the end of the gallery on a chair there. Now there's always a chair there. It could be an easy chair or an ordinary chair, and she sits there. Well, twice she's been sitting there. So they say. And the only experience, twice I've had experience was, I was in our kitchen here, doing something, and there was another lady in Norman Gallery 17, and she was talking and talking away, and I had to stop and say, I cannot hear you when I'm along at the kitchen. And she says, you're sitting on this chair. I says, I'm not, I'm along here. And so when she came out the room, she realised I was along here, and that happened twice. But it happened once, and then a couple of years later it happened again with different ladies. There was once we had a senior man, and he lives in all our senior people, like senior man, that's what we call them. They always live in 17. Now one night he was the only student back living up here, and he couldn't stand it. I don't know if he's seen one, but he had to leave his room and go and sleep in his car. So I don't know. But it is a castle. It could be, I would believe it if I seen it, but I haven't seen it, so I don't believe. Yeah. Now they also say, which I don't know about, up here they think there's like a false room because there's a window, we can't get to it. Oh, really? We don't know anything about it. And they think there's a headless monk in there. But 25 was a chapel.
Well, that all sounds very intriguing, but I'll leave you with the people of the North East, who've had some very strange experiences themselves.
The same dream ever since I was little, and I don't understand it because, again, I'm fairly down to earth. But I have to say that I dream about this peculiar, it's either an old church or an old house, and I go into it, and I walk through it, and I go upstairs, and it's kind of got a gallery, with all the old timbers, and then the floor disappears. And I wake up. But having said that, I dream that dream a lot in the time I've been alive, which is still a considerable time. I don't mean I'm frightened by it, but it's a funny place. How can you dream about what you don't know? I don't understand that.
I've seen a ghost. It was in an off-beer license, actually. An off-beer shop.
Yeah.
And I was perfectly sober at the time, of course, because I'd just going in, I wasn't coming out. And there was this very old fellow with like a brown overall, dust coat, examining bottles and things. And I went to the counter, and the lady came out of the shop at the back and says, yes, what do you want? And I sort of said, well, this guy's fit, and there was nobody there. And she said, well, what have you seen? I said, well, I've seen this old boy. And she said, oh, he used to own this shop many years ago, and he comes down and examines the stock.
When people say that they see someone who's died, they come back.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that. I don't think we should query anyone that says they have seen it. You know, people make fun of it, but no, I don't think we should make fun of it. Like these people who've seen things from outer space. You shouldn't make fun because you've seen it, haven't you?